everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Anna Vavilova. I'm a pianist and a teacher, and today I want to talk to you about grade 10 RCM intervals. I've been studying when I was a child in Russia, and in Russia we had ear training classes 2 times per week, 45 minutes, and I attended those ear training classes for the whole duration of my music school, which was 8 years, and then in my college years. So ear training and learning how to hear, sing, and recognize intervals, it's a process, and it takes very, very long time. In this video tutorial, I want to show you tricks how to accelerate this process and how to teach your students and how to help your students to recognize intervals faster and how to spend a lot of time practicing, but during the short time period, and then have 100% results. I use this system with my students, and they get full marks for their intervals. As you know, grade 10 intervals consist of all intervals within an octave. So starting from minor second, going up to perfect eighths, including augmented fourth and diminished fifths. And there is an addition of 2 intervals that are over an octave. It's minor ninth and major ninth. So there's a lot of intervals to recognize for someone who doesn't have the years and years of ear training that I had. So it's very, very hard for a student. So I have 3 different systems that I worked to establish, and I tested those systems on all of my students. And if you apply those 3 systems at the same time, you will be able to get perfect result. So the first way to recognize an interval is to remember the song that this interval starts with. For example, the song Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. So it's an interval, it starts an interval of perfect fifth. So if you hear the song, when the judge plays an interval for you, you hear the song, boom, right away. You know it's a perfect fifth. You don't have to imagine, what is it, C going to the G. It's too complicated if you do not have years and years of practice. Okay, the same with descending. There's also a song. So there is a song for each interval. So all you need to do is memorize all of these songs, and then when the judge plays this interval, okay, you hear the song. Try to recognize what that is, and then you will recognize your interval. It works when the interval is played ascending and descending. What happens when interval is played at the same time? It is hard to hear the song all the time. It's possible, but it's hard. So this is where my second way of recognizing comes in. I call this understanding and listening to the sonority of the interval, to the feeling that you get when you hear the intervals. And I divide them in few groups. So first group is happy intervals. So these are major third and major sixth. Okay, then we have sad intervals, which are minors. Then we have intervals that is more stable. These are usually your perfect intervals. Then we have some odd sounding intervals. These are your tritones, augmented fifth, diminished, augmented fourth, diminished fifth. There is also a subgroup for the minor ninth, major seventh major ninth, so there is a special group. So there is my second way of recognizing the intervals. Get the sense of the interval. How does it sound like to you? And you can work with your students to establish, maybe you find another way, another feeling for that specific interval group. Okay, so that's my second way. There is a third way, it's a solfege. Solfege when you sing your interval. Of course, it's very, very unrealistic to expect a child who's never done this before all of a sudden carry a tune or become a perfect singer. Plus, they're very embarrassed to sing in front of you, and at home they feel stupid. And my students feel so shy. Okay, so the best way is sing at home, of course, quietly, but try to do it anyways. And what you can do, if you memorize your songs, if you know what they are, for example, let's take the same Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So how to sing them? Don't sing solfege, just play any note on the piano in your singing register. So say la, and try to sing from this note to a beginning of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So twinkle, twinkle, and then follow on the piano with that note. So that's the perfect fifth. So you sang it. La, la. Okay, so I find this is much better and much more comprehensible for a child to understand rather than solfege. You can do the same thing with descending. Descending is much more difficult. So let's do perfect fifth. So perfect fifth is, the song is minuet and G. La, 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 la. Here we go. Perfect fifth. So you can do this exercise from each note in your singing range, but you do need to memorize your songs. There is actually another fourth way, which only works for some students. Some students hear the actual notes on the piano. So some students hear that this is actually C. They see the keyboard. For those students, it's called perfect pitch. So I play, so they hear C and F. But for some of them, they do hear the notes, but it's a problem for them to name what is that interval, because they don't know that this particular one is perfect fifth. They know these are the notes. So they have to know some theory. They need to know that the distance between F and C, 5 notes, fifth, perfect fifth. Okay, so it's good for them to understand a little bit the structure. Well, hopefully by the time they reach grade 10, they understand some theory. So yes, so these are sort of 3 pillars that I use when I teach intervals to my students. There is like a 4th bonus pillar for students with perfect pitch. And if they practice following that method regularly, I guarantee you will get perfect results. All of my students do that follow this method. So I'm going to, in the next 3 videos, I'm going to go in details about each one of those pillars. I'll talk about how to memorize the song and what songs goes with which interval. The second video, I'm going to talk about the feel that you get with certain groups of intervals. And the third, I will try to teach you a little bit how to sing that particular song and the interval. And maybe if you want, I can do another video for the theory part. It's very, very simple, how to build intervals. Okay, so thank you for watching, and join me in my next video. It'll be much more hands-on. All right, thanks.